sitting pretty for bootleg talk? Hmm?
I said you'll have fun, and I won't disappoint you.
Welcome, fellow Kiss fans. Welcome to It's All For You, Demon, celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan. And tonight, we are going down a road I've never been down before, have always avoided. Bootlegs. But first, HOTFACE. The fall weather has really hit us. We're in kind of fool's fall right now because it's about to get like 90 again. So we'll be in hell's front porch very soon. But the fall weather has kind of tiptoed in a little bit. And I love, man, I don't know why. Maybe this summer was just such a bummer that I'm really feeling a fall vibe. And like at night when I go out and let out the dogs around 10 o'clock, like it's just so cool, and the crickets and whatnot. I'm really into a fall vibe, and I mentioned last week that I considered Alive 2 to transfer into fall from a summer record into a fall record. And I'm going to go even further than that. I'm going to say, I know myself and the Record Spinner have done videos where we kind of created our own fantasy Phantom of the Park soundtrack. I'm going to go ahead and say Alive 2 is my Phantom of the Park soundtrack for 2025. Very much feeling that this album is going to carry me through September and October, Phantom of the Park season. This is my HOTFACE right here, the unofficial Phantom of the Park soundtrack. So leave your HOTFACEs below and let's wax. As mentioned in the intro, bootlegs are something I've always avoided, and just gonna come out and say it, I've always considered bootlegs like something fake, and I'm not gonna buy it because I consider myself a vintage collector and a coin collector. Although I trickle into 1994. I stop it at 1994. Beyond the point, bootlegs to me always kind of felt fake, so I've just kind of always avoided them. Now, my first bootleg was a gift from my buddy FL Dog, and it was this Kiss Egos at Stake bootleg, the Arena, Wembley, London. And this was a September 9th, 1980 show, which Maiden had toured with Kiss in 1980 as an opener, but Maiden did not want to open the UK shows. So the band Girl opened with guitarist Phil Collen, who later ended up in Def Leppard, and Phil Lewis, who ended up singing for LA Guns. Now, Girl was booed off of the stage at this show, and rumor has it they were fired for playing a cover of Do You Love Me. Do You Love Me is not a song on this bootleg, but here's the back cover. And this thing, you talk about how I considered bootlegs to be fake. This is so DIY punk rock. Like, this is just like a photocopied brochure stuck in the back of a jacket, totally just like a flyer. And then this front picture, which is from, I believe, like a maybe a Live era photo shoot when Kiss was doing all those photos with cars, Cream magazine maybe. But it's just an odd cover, odd back, and the albums itself are even more crazy. I mean, you talk your DIY bootleg, it is this. Absolutely nothing on the front ring and nothing on the back ring. And if you see a 1 and a 2 there, that was written by It's All For You Demon himself, so he could know which side was which side. So there you go. You talk about bootleg, this is it. But I do love this gift. Thank you very much, FL Dog, because this is a fun show to listen to. Very bootleg-ish, but a fun show. And for the longest time, this was my only bootleg. And then recently this year, I appeared on the Record Spinners Council of the Elders episode. Thank you, Record Spinner, for having me on that show. And we talked a lot of Dynasty, and he has an amazing collection of bootlegs. and he showed off some of his Dynasty bootlegs, and my jaw was literally on the ground. I was like, okay, these are cool. Let me go down the bootleg rabbit hole. Which I myself did not go down. I went down this rabbit hole with the thanks of a good friend, Brian, from The Life of Brian. He was in Kansas City for a Royals game, and we ended up meeting up and hitting some record shops. We didn't buy anything. They did have a gigantic stack of Kiss records, which is very odd for Kansas City. I mean, they had everything from Creatures of the Night to The Elder with the plastic sleeve to solo albums to Animalize to Asylum. It was crazy. None of us bought anything because we had all of those records already, but in true, collector fashion these days, we did find a rock and roll over with merch form and sticker for $130. We'll just take a moment of silence on that absurdity.
Strange and wondrous.
You gotta be effing kidding me. But anyway, Brian, out of the generosity of his own heart, thank you so much, has kind of tripped me down the bootleg rabbit hole with two amazing bootlegs. And the first one is this, Kiss Crazy Like a Fox. And this is the Western Springs Stadium, Auckland, New Zealand, December 3rd, 1980 show. It features your standard Inner Sanctum set list, but is a lot of fun. Very cool cover from those New Zealand press conferences. Cool Kiss logo, all gold like that. Crazy Like a Fox, cool picture of Unmasked Era on the back. And then the gatefold is the classic Donruss trading card photo, Aussie concert poster photo, Aussie tour book photo, and has a little tribute to Eric down there. Two things I love about this show. This is Ace Frehley's last show as a Kiss member prior to the reunion tour. So if the reunion tour never would have happened, Unplugged never would have happened, this would have been the last recording of Ace in Kiss. That's pretty cool to note. And I also love the Gene solo. Just the pandemonium of the fans before the solo even starts. Every kid in that audience knows what's coming. And it is just the coolest feeling in the world to picture yourself as an 8-year-old in New Zealand sitting in this audience waiting for Gene to spit blood. Like, that's pop culture, man. I love it, and you can hear the fun in all of the screams, and it's just amazing. It's one of the coolest things I love about any Kiss bootleg audio is a Gene Simmons solo. Him spitting blood was just such a playground, talked about thing. Kids sat on picnic tables in suburban neighborhoods and fantasized about Gene Simmons spitting blood. It is just such an event of that show, and you can hear the fun of those kids. It's beautiful. And one last thing that I absolutely love. Read this in the Kurt Gooch book, and fuck. I mean, this is the juice of why I love the Dynasty Unmasked Disco Wax Night era. The Kurt Gooch, Jeff Sue's book, Kiss Alive Forever, which they're supposed to make a Motley Crue one. Tours. I don't think that's ever going to happen now. But, of this show, December 3rd, 1980, he states, and I love this, to this day, while Kiss's apex is usually considered 77 to 78, the Dynasty and Unmasked era mark the height of Kiss popularity in the minds of most Australian and New Zealand fan base. I love that because I love that era. It's so over the top and so silly and so Las Vegas. It's the coolest. Like, yeah, 77, 78 is awesome. Love Gun, Alive 2, Phantom of the Park, solo albums. But Dynasty Unmasked is just so over the top. It's amazing. It's my all-time favorite niche of Kiss. And if I could decorate my home in disco 79, 80 Kiss fun. Believe you me, I would. And the vinyls are super cool, like a clear vinyl. There's Eric on the front, Unmasked Era on the back, the famous People magazine photo on the front, Unmasked Era on the back. And you talk about DIY, this is DIY doing it right. This is DIY making it super cool. And with this version, we can actually do a poltergeist.
Tell her to go to the light. No!
And the next up, holy moly, is a beautiful Dynasty bootleg. Dynasty Reloaded, the working sessions. And this, I mean, I could not, I just probably laughed when he gave this to me because, like, dude, first off, you should not have done this. And secondly, thank you so freaking much because this is just perfection in my eyes. It is just a beautiful four-sided double LP of Kiss Wonderland. Demos, working sessions. It is beautiful. This was limited to 300 copies. This is number 221. The back pretty much looks like the Dynasty cover, but all the tracks will go through some of my favorites. But check out this gatefold. Absolutely fantastic. Just look at that. Just so much fun to look at. Absolutely cool. Sitting on a living room floor with this in your lap and these wonderful Dynasty treasures playing on your record player. That's a Christmas vacation night. Well done. I don't care when it was released. I don't care when kids were into it. Christmas. Christmas. Snow. Cold as all get out. Christmas lights. It's beginning to look a lot like Dynasty. As far as some of my favorite tracks on this, Dirty Livin' demo is very cool because the demo is way more disco than it appears on the record. And I still like the record version better, but it's so disco, it's kind of crazy. Feel Like Heaven was one of the first Kiss demos I ever heard. I had a Kiss bootleg CD back in the college days, and I ended up giving it to a fellow Kiss fan. They deserved it, but I wish I would have made a copy of it because I don't have a copy of it anymore, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, and when I find it, I am going to freak out a little bit because it was very cool, and it was like my first exposure to bootlegs and a lot of demos, and Feel Like Heaven was on there, and I remember Danny and I like loving that because it just had such a cool kind of 80s Billy Ocean vibe to it, I want to say. I just kind of associate that song to like Miami Vice and Billy Ocean. Like, I don't know why. Just has that vibe to it, to me. And also, that bootleg had the Let's Put the X in Sex horrible Sexpella remix that I still want to find on album because that thing is horrendous, but it's so bad it's good. So Feel Like Heaven is one of my favorites on here. The song Rumble is a Peter Criss demo, and it's one of those moments where you are thankful these songs are only demos because you wouldn't want them on a record. Now, don't give me a lot of Peter hate because I'm saying this, but like, I don't know if it was the cocaine or the ego. I love Peter's solo album. It's my second favorite solo album, so you can't give me too much hate. But like this song Rumble, like, dude, enough with the like I'm a street gang 1950s West Side Story vibe. Come on, like, we get it. You had a rough upbringing, you lived in the streets, and you went to Catholic school, and you got your hand smacked by a nun. Prehistory comic books right there. But it's just, when you hear songs like Rumble, you're glad they're demos. Fun to listen to, but thank God for demos. First song on side 2 is Only You. And it's, you know, probably in the Gene Simmons Vault box set. Such a cool freaking version. Way better than the Elder version. The chorus, my gosh, the chorus just tugs at my heart. Smokes the Elder version, and my all-time favorite track on this bootleg. The tracks Gypsy Nights and I've Just Begun to Fight are a couple of Gene demos that I love. Gene demos. They're so cheesy. They're so cheesy and they're so throwaway. You can tell the writing difference between him and Paul. Like, Paul writes 7 songs that are all really good, and Gene writes 27 songs that are pretty much horrible. But you gotta love them. They just have that solo album vibe, and you just gotta love Uncle Gene. You just wrap your arms around Uncle Gene, and his solo album is #1. Fun demos. And lastly, a lot of working session stuff on here. Sure Know Something writing session. I Was Made for Loving You writing session. Takes me back to my high school days. My next door neighbor, Brett Parker, Dan Thompson, and myself were all going through this at the same time. All going through our Kiss puberty at the same time. And Brett bought from Peter Arquette the I Was Made for Loving You writing session cassette tape. Cool to listen to, but it was a long cassette tape to listen to, especially when we're teenagers and it's just them writing I Was Made for Loving You over and over and over again. So much fun to listen to, and it just reminds me of, you know, being in Brett's house, being in my basement, talking Kiss in those teenage years, man. It's crazy to think that we're still doing it all these years later. Adulthood. Literal adulthood. I'm still friends with the guys I was friends with in high school. That's rare. I don't know a lot of people who are still friends with their high school friends, and I'm still talking Kiss every weekend. That's a something to be grateful for. I love it. And lastly, creme de la creme, I Was Made for Loving You and Dirty Livin', Jim Burgess mixes. Oh, the best in the world. Jim Burgess mixes. I would love an entire Jim Burgess passed away. Unfortunately, cannot happen. Maybe somebody could do this in Jim Burgess fashion. Imagine a entire Jim Burgess Dynasty record. Would be so much fun. If you have not heard I Was Made for Loving You and Dirty Livin', Jim Burgess mixes, I highly recommend you do. It will put you in the greatest 79-80 mood ever. And also, if you want to dive even further, listen to Jim Burgess' What a Fool Believes remix and Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. Both amazingly great. And Jim Burgess, for remixing those songs, was paid with a Kiss pinball machine. I read an interview where his friend was at his house when the Kiss pinball machine arrived. How cool is that? And here is the Dynasty Reloaded vinyl. Can't do a poltergeist with it because it's not translucent, but it is still very cool. And why is it very cool? Because both records are gosh darn Christmassy. Green and red. How fun is that? I told you, one day everyone's gonna know. Everyone's gonna believe Dynasty is a Christmas record.
I would also add there is a YouTube channel called Dragon that has every one of these demos. In case you ever want to listen to them on your own, go check his channel out. Him or her, go check their channel out. Every one of these demos and a lot of other Kiss demos, so it's pretty cool stuff.
First off, thank you so much, FL Dog, for my very first bootleg, Record Spinner for making my jaw drop for bootlegs, and my buddy Brian for these 2 amazing bootlegs. You guys, A, should not have done any of that, and B, I thank you so much. I'm
I'm a bootlegger.
What?
Bootlegging a movie, baby.
I never take for granted once, ever, how cool the Kiss community is and has been to me. I am grateful beyond words for everyone in this community. Your comments, your wax, your friendship, your gifts blow my mind, and it really means the world to me. I have some of the greatest friends in the world, and it just so happens to be that we're all Kiss fans. So that is the kick-ass icing on the cake right there. God bless you all.
And seriously, thank each and every one of you for spending your Friday night, Saturday morning with us. It literally means the world to me. It really does. I always say that in the comments, oh, that means the world to me, but it really freaking does. Because like I said, when I was 15 years old, I was in my neighborhood in St. Joseph, Missouri with my friends Dan and Brett, talking about Kiss on a Friday night. Back then, who knows what we wanted to be? Probably rock stars, but I guarantee somewhere in the back of my mind was the thought, wouldn't it be cool if we're still doing this when we're growing up? And I'm growing up, I'm an old man, and I still love Kiss. And because of you all watching this, I get to talk about Kiss every weekend. And I love it. And I love each and every one of you. And I thank you so much for hanging with us and waxing rock and roll nostalgia with us. Thank you so much for loving my dogs. Like, my dogs are my life. My dogs are more important than Kiss. And it's very cool that my dogs bring a little joy into your life as well. Be good to your babies. Spay, neuter, microchip. Take care. Be safe. We will talk to you soon. Sorry that got a little gushy there at the end. No filters here, people. No filters. I'm just an old man, an old soul, an old nerd loving Kiss. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will talk to you soon. And just in case you needed a little Strutter Boy fix, there he is. There he is. He says, I was sleeping in the other room. It's your brother. Yep.
I said you'll have